This shot shows a peasant woodcutter taking shelter from the heat of the Thanalan sun, unaware of the danger just behind him.
I've come to study the poisonous glowing plants in Totorak. The things I could do with them.
I hope I'm not lost. At least water's a good sign.
It's a lot of work to get here, but this underground waterfall is one of the most magical places in all of Thanalan.
If you're not here, then where? Where are you, Jonah?
Yeah, looks like we have another civilian intruder. No, this one's alive.
Not all women are princesses in need of rescuing.
Interesting. The light from these crystals feels protective somehow.
Left, right, straight ahead. Which one is the right way to find Ocean's treasure?
I don't think it's against the rules to use dark magic to win, is it? We'll find out soon enough.
There can be miracles when you believe.
A bard in a poisonous jungle. Hope my music doesn't attract anything dangerous.
The judges and I have made some decisions. Infira, Qatar, Lilith, Maxwell, Nini Feepsy, and Tarini. You are all safe. Everyone else, you have this week's strongest and weakest photos.
The glowing plants in Totorak are unique to itself. Thus, I chose it as a symbol for my dungeon, masquerading as a plague doctor, taking notes from my incoming evil experiments.
Seeing that mask in our modeling contest was really unexpected, but I love it and the way the neon colors seem to reflect on the mask and the quill. It's weird, colorful, and interesting.
This shot was definitely one of my favorites. I loved the way she made herself look as though she was studying and taking notes of the very poisonous plant right in front of her. Excellent job.
I really like the idea of a mad scientist following us into a dungeon after we've killed all the baddies, just to see what they can find inside. I think this model is latched onto such a cool original concept, and I give them total props. Looks great.
This shot, to me, is a prime example of great storytelling in your scenic shots. So rather than just posing in front of a nice background, here we see a still of a scene which is planned out from setting to costume to lighting. Everything works together in one cohesive composition. Well done.
I liked the tree branch going over the water since it provided a logical place to stand where I could present the background in its full glory.
Not only did she choose a very beautiful spot for her photo, but I also love that she decided to use the survival shirt to give off that explorer vibe.
I'm a sucker for really colorful images, and this person did exactly that. And I think that's well complemented by the simplicity of the picture. It's kind of letting the environment do the talking for them.
This shot is simply gorgeous. The colors and lighting are perfect. Your glamour really contrasts well with the scenery, which makes your character stand out really well. Longstop is one of those dungeons that I really hate getting in Duty Roulette, but after seeing your shot, I don't think I would mind spending the whole day there.
Gangly, this is gorgeous. I love the filter you used because it gives off this watercolor scenic painting feel, and the forest behind you is so deep, and that log creates this really nice line that gives so much depth to the photo. I do wish the river wasn't so dead center though.
I chose this shot in particular because this room is located in the second boss room in Stone Vigil, and you can see a bit of Ishgard in the background in the cannons. I felt that you know where you were located as well, dungeon-wise at least.
I can't say I'm especially fond of the orangeness of the model's face in this screenshot. It seems to contrast really dramatically with the environment. Also, I get a distinctly Heavensward vibe from the screenshot rather than a Realm Reborn, both from the setting and the attire. So thematically, it doesn't seem quite right. And color-wise, it seems to clash a bit unnaturally.
Unfortunately, with this shot, it's not really telling me anything. I have no idea what the model is trying to tell us in this photo. That's really the main problem with it.
While I really do like the Dutch angle that this model used, I do find the picture a little bit on the simple side. The moon makes a really nice point to draw your eyes to, but the character is kind of left blending into the background.
Kire, the filter you chose ended up making your head stand out in a way that's really distracting. I like that you threw an angle on it to give it a more interesting feel, but it kind of goes against the line of sight that the cannons are creating. And I do love the background with the moon and the castle. I just wish I could see more of the castle.
The concept for this one is that there's some kind of biohazard and I find someone in an unauthorized area.
I'm a big fan of the city of Amdapor, and this screenshot perfectly captures the atmosphere of that place. Quite literally, the kneeling Lalafell seems to be choking on the toxic spores in the air. It's an amazing submission, one of my favorite I've seen so far. I love this one.
This was an awesome shot of Amdapor City. The depth of field effect makes the particles in the background look really great. I love shots that tell a story, and your character with the gas mask on and the Lalafell struggling to breathe, and your character's pose all bring a sense of urgency to the scene. It all comes together really beautifully, and this is just really great work.
This is a great shot with a wonderful level of depth and atmosphere in the back, but also a really good story in the foreground. You could have perfected it by shifting your poses in a little bit more to the right, so you share the center instead of just the extra being there, and to make that empty but really badly textured space a little bit smaller on the right.
Lady Momi, I personally love this dungeon so much. In Eorzea's Next Top Model YouTube Edition Cycle 1, I dedicated an entire round to it, and seeing it come back to life like this was super fun for me. I absolutely love the story that you're bringing into the shot, and your subtitle makes me wonder, how many dead Lalafells have you found till now, and why is this one special? Why did he survive? When does the sequel to the shot come out? I do have to mention, though, that had the space between you and your extra been the center of the shot, instead of your extra himself, I think it would have balanced this shot out perfectly.
I really wanted to catch that feeling when you first enter Tantara. The first thing you see is the hallway, and at the end of it is a floating purple ball. It is very memorable.
The use of shape and color in this shot is very intriguing. It's dark and mysterious, but I don't know if it tells me all that much about the character or the story that's taking place here in this dungeon specifically. It seems more like she just found a cool thing, raised up the weapon, and took a shot, which isn't really enough to get into the top 3.
I definitely like her choice of a background, however her pose is a different story. She really should have done something different, perhaps look at us, give us an evil type of look to show that she's like some kind of dark magic user. And I'm not really into her outfit either, that doesn't scream dark magic.
I really can't stress enough the importance of good lighting, and it really can mean the difference between a good shot and a bad shot. Unfortunately, this one was the latter for me. I can't really make out the details of the scene. If you had just added a bit of lighting in the background, this would have been a really much stronger shot.
Silver Sun, I think you were smart to choose the most interesting aspect of the dungeon you were assigned, and I get the story you're trying to tell with this shot. I really wish you could go back into this dungeon, though, and retake it with you facing away from the camera instead, so that it looks like that beam of light is shooting out of your staff or your body, instead of it just coming out behind you. I think that would have looked really cool. I wonder if the fear of a back shot led you to submit this one instead.
Trying to find a location in this dungeon that is immediately recognizable was difficult. So I just opted for this green wall, and I'm hoping for the best, I guess.
I really do like the concept of a bard lone wolfing it through some super dangerous jungles, but a nicer looking background probably would have benefited the picture a little bit more.
I really wish we could have seen more of the environment in this shot. If it wasn't for the fact that I've played this game for so long, I probably wouldn't have known that this was Orm Vale. I mean, there really are a lot more interesting locations that I think you could have went with, and this shot might as well have been taken anywhere. I would have loved to see some of the steaming acid pools, some marbles, something. There just needed to be more, there could have been more, and there just wasn't.
In the shot list, this particular round was listed as a type of scenic shot, and I judged all entries accordingly. Sadly, not many scenic shots can pull off standing in front of a near featureless wall, and this one does not either, so I'll have to call it failed in the brief. Sorry.
Vaughn, this week's shot feels just like last week's shot, just green instead of red. Your outfit, again, is great for the story that you're trying to tell, and your subtitle is hilarious. But you missed out completely on what the idea of this photo shoot was, to go and take a recognizable scenic shot inside your dungeon. Most of us can guess what your dungeon is, of course, as longtime players, but I don't think that the green wall is what most of us remember about this dungeon.
Time for the results. The model with the highest score this week is Lady Moment.
Yes.
Congratulations, you've won immunity in the next round. Gangly, Esme, you are both safe. Kide, Silver Sun, Vaughn, you are the bottom 3 this week, and only 2 of you can move on to the next round. One of those models is Kide. Silver Sun, everyone knows I want nothing more than a Rogadin to win. You and your team did really well in the preliminary round, but last week you were only a few points away from the bottom 3. And this week, well, here you are. Both last week and this week, I can see that you're trying to create a story. It's just not coming through. Vaughn, another Alpha Team member. Another great shot in the preliminary round, but followed by 2 shots of you standing against a wall. The judges and I can't help but wonder just how far you can go in this competition without a team behind you. So who stays? Silver Sun.
I scraped by.
The story is in there. I know it. Just work on that composition. Good luck. Vaughn, thank you so much for competing. Don't give up hope. Just because you're out does not mean it's over. Good luck in the eliminated models head-to-head competition and in the fans' choice voting. Until we meet again, take care.
What? Eliminated? But how? I tried so hard. I played by all the rules. I met all the deadlines.